We've always been black. We don't think about it. It just is.
And we were very cordial and said hello. And
Turning Point USA has denounced the group of neo-Nazis and said they have nothing to do with the organization, but you left them in, you let them in, and you knew what they were, right? So you are complicit. So even though we've always been black, we don't think about it. It just says, and we were very friendly and said hello, and I worked on a project with her for a BC. The View was forced to apologize after Turning Point USC threatened legal action against them and said they would do anything to defend their rights. Despite the apology, though, they still have something to be on the lookout for since co-host Whoopi Goldberg chose not to retract her comments about TPUSA being complicit in neo-Nazis attending their event. Get ready for another exciting story about Whoopi Goldberg and her unwelcoming behavior. You won't want to miss Rosie's stunning tales about how difficult it was for her to work with Whoopi. But before I reveal them, make sure you've subscribed to our channel and turned on the notice. Please subscribe for more information and videos like this one. Rosie O'Donnell recently discussed her time as a co-host on The View, calling it a dreadful experience and said she wouldn't want to take part in the program again. It's not difficult to guess who Rosie is referring to, as it's quite obvious that someone was exerting their influence islands to center the show around their own perspective, recalling the intense arguments she had with Whoopi Goldberg. Rosie initially joined the talk show as the mediator in 2006, but her time there was brief. Reflecting on those days, Rosie revealed her reluctance to return due to certain individuals on the set who made the purpose of the show difficult to bear. Rosie believed that the best way for her to demonstrate her talents wasn't to take part in a program where she would continuously be required to argue for and defend core notions of kindness and humanity. It's not the first time that Whoopi's co-workers have voiced concerns about her behavior and outbursts on television. The thing is that she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So in Rosie's opinion, this situation echoes previous instances of others accusing Whoopi of being overly aggressive and unkind during the show. Because Whoopi seemed determined to undermine the purpose of the show, her interactions with Goldberg on The View were the worst she had ever experienced on live television. By ignoring significant and contentious issues and concentrating solely on matters that suited her, the tension between Rosie and Whoopi once resulted in a significant argument between the two of them during a commercial break. Rosie also mentioned that when Whoopi ran out of convincing arguments, she would turn the discussion into a drama centered around herself. Rosie found it difficult to engage in discussions about the interesting and contentious topics that interested her. When Rosie is questioned, it will be about the sudden interruption. I told you to leave it alone, and you simply don't want to listen if you want to go there, Goldberg said at her co-host. Rosie, despite her co-host's outburst, said, "I'm really sick of your crap." After the argument, Rosie made the decision to remain professional. She went back to her seat at the table and continued as if nothing had happened. Rosie claimed that she had never been looking for a fight, but Whoopi seemed to have made the decision to treat everyone on set disrespectfully. However, given that Whoopi had been working on The View for a very long time, perhaps that was just how things were supposed to be. It's simply ridiculous, don't you think? And I don't know, O'Donnell was unwilling to avoid talking about important topics, according to sources, and she did not like being instructed what to say or how to behave. Many think Whoopi acts in a demanding manner and puts producers in difficult situations. It has been revealed that Goldberg even asked a BC to cancel her contract with the network and pay her the remaining $10 million from her agreement so she could quit the show because she didn't like working on the show with people like Rosie. Yes, you must understand what racism is. Amid growing public demand for Whoopi to leave the program, racism is defined as when someone shows up, dies. Many people are praising Rosie for speaking up and exposing her co-workers' true nature, but the story isn't over yet. It turns out that Whoopi's animosity toward Rosie was so strong that it even led one of her close friends, DeGeneres, to harbor prejudice toward Rosie. many people have been astonished by the sudden enmity between Rosie and Ellen. In a recent interview, Rosie detailed the specifics of the altercation she had with Ellen years ago. Rosie O'Donnell revealed her once tight relationship with Ellen DeGeneres and how it later deteriorated. She largely blamed this to Whoopi, since their one lasting friendship, which had been characterized by mutual support both on and off the set, had broken down. Apparently, when Ellen openly declared her own gender preference, she feared that people would guess about her love engagement with Rosie as a preventive precaution. As a result, she distanced herself from Rosie after her actions harmed her feelings. Ellen publicly stated that she didn't know Rosie. I'm citing Ellen when she says, "I don't know what happened with Rosie, but we're not friends. It hurt my feelings like a baby, and I never really got over it as I thought about their tension." Rosie was unsure about the reason, adding, "I don't know if it's competition, jealousy, or the fact that she once said something mean about me that really hurt my feelings." Rosie revealed that they had not spoken for a very long time before Ellen texted her. "I texted Rosie a few weeks ago to check on how she was doing, and I asked her how she was handling not being on television." Rosie's revelation was that people can approach Obama and not look him up and see that it's not just racism. Rosie often requested to be a guest on the Ellen DeGeneres show, but Ellen's producers consistently rejected her requests because to Ellen's active distance-making throughout the years. Throughout the 20-year span of the show, Rosie was never given the opportunity to appear alongside Ellen. These experiences contrasted with the positive aspects of her life, leaving her perplexed and dejected. Whoopi's behavior was so impolite, and many viewers thought that Goldberg was the show's voice of reason, according to Rosie, who believes that Ellen and Whoopi may have discussed her role as a possible cause for her behavior. Contrary to what Rosie's latest admissions imply, it seems that the TV icon's main goal is to provide a platform for airing her skewed ideas while making life challenging for other hosts. Rosie claimed that speaking up on the program felt pointless because Goldberg allegedly had prior agreements with the producers, leading to discussions that were staged rather than sincere and open-minded. This is similar to the Bill Cosby incident, where the host's statements were pre-planned. When Bill Cosby appeared on the program, there was a lengthy discussion beforehand about what topics were appropriate or not. Rosie didn't learn about this discussion until after the show had already started, and as a result, she was shocked to learn that they weren't allowed to express their genuine thoughts without a restriction. As a result, Rosie came to understand that there were restrictions on expressing her true opinions. Despite Whoopi's belief that her intense discussions were propelling ratings to new heights, Rosie claimed that no one had ever treated her as harshly and impolitely as Goldberg had. It is possible that Whoopi's secret agenda, perhaps in collaboration with the show's producers, was to be as cruel to her as anyone ever had been. The truth is that she is currently under pressure to leave The View. While Goldberg still has a devoted fan base and a sizable following, there is increasing pressure from people who are tired of her constant skewed perspectives and behavior. Longtime viewers of The View are choosing not to watch the show if it continues to focus on Whoopi's opinions and narratives.